try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy.
Now this time I'm going to know about my another blog, Puvvu Konvict Entertainments blogspot.com. So I would like to get a wise overview about this, that the perspective of AI, what the AI is going to thinking about me or about this blog. So let me go to the notebook. Let me add my blog's overview, Puvvu Konvict Entertainments. Let's see what it's gonna do and say. Oh nice. Let me generate the voice overview. Listening to this kind of conversations between two AI agents about our blog or about whatever that you're gonna paste here is really great way to learn and improvise ourselves in the content development or content writing, whatever. You can try this out for your requirements as well. So I'm gonna skip this part for a few minutes because it takes some time to generate the conversation. So let me skip it. So yeah, it generated the conversation about my blog, Puvvu Konvict Entertainments. So let's dive into it.
Welcome, deep divers. Ever wondered if a simple blog, just text and images, could really pack the same punch as a movie or, a really gripping TV show?
It seems unlikely on the surface, doesn't it?
It does. But today, we're diving into Puvvu Konvict Entertainments. It's this really fascinating spot online that kind of challenges that idea.
That name is quite something. Puvvu Konvict Entertainments.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. We'll probably just say Puvvu Konvict or maybe Puvvu's blog as we go.
Sounds good.
Because this really isn't your typical blog. It's more like a serialized romance. It honestly feels closer to a visual novel.
Or even like watching scenes from a film.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack how...
Hey, thanks guys.
How it does that. Look, the storytelling, the surprising emotional weight, and that really cinematic style.
And maybe what it tells us about digital stories in general.
Right. So jumping in. When you first land on Puvvu Konvict, that cinematic feeling, it hits you almost immediately.
It really does.
Each post feels like a scene. You get the dramatic pacing, these really poetic titles. It just pulls you in. What actually makes it feel so film-like, do you think?
Well, it's quite deliberate, I think. The whole presentation works together. Like you said, the images and titles, they're not just decoration.
Right.
They often look and feel like mini movie posters. It really reinforces that visual journey you're on.
So even on a basic blog, those visual choices make a huge difference.
A massive difference. It shows how much you can do with simple tools. And the main story there, Sushanth, A Journey from Laughter to Love.
Yes.
That's the perfect example. It's told in parts, serialized, and it really does feel like you're moving through episodes or chapters of something bigger.
It keeps you hooked.
Definitely. And if we dig a bit deeper into Sushanth and the other writing, the themes are things we all connect with, right?
Like what specifically?
Well, you've got that intensity of youthful love, that sense of emotional awakening, maybe for the first time.
You guys understand in the right way. Thank you so much.
There's a lot of nostalgia, too.
Nostalgia. Yeah, I felt that.
And underneath it all, this sort of quiet, almost spiritual simplicity. It weaves all these feelings together pretty effectively.
What really gets me is that it's not just random thoughts.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. Now, if you've come across Puvvu Konvict Entertainments online, you probably know it's not your average blog. Today, we're going to really dig into how it manages to be so much more than that, how it creates this experience. We want to unpack the storytelling, the surprising emotional depth, and what makes it feel almost like watching something unfold, not just reading. Basically, what can we learn about digital stories from this? So the first thing that hits you with Puvvu Konvict Entertainments is this immediate visual thing, right? It feels, cinematic, like each post is a mini scene. You've got the dramatic pacing, these really poetic titles. How does a blog pull that off, that kind of atmosphere?
Yeah, it's fascinating. I almost call it implied cinema. It's really clever how the design backs that feeling up. The images, the titles, they're not just decoration. They feel deliberate, like movie posters, or maybe key skills from a film.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
And it's definitely intentional. It prepares you, the reader, for a narrative experience right from the start. And by giving you just one strong image per post, plus those titles, it actually makes your imagination work harder.
Ah, so you're filling in the gaps yourself.
Exactly. And that engagement, it creates a much deeper sort of personal immersion than just watching a movie passively might. And that big multi-part story, Sushant, A Journey from Laughter to Love, that's a perfect example of how this whole serialized thing works, drawing you along using exactly that technique. And when you dive into the actual writing, you find these really strong themes running through it all. Things like, young love, discovering emotions, a lot of nostalgia, even this kind of spiritual simplicity. It gives it real texture.
Right, and it's not just random posts. It feels very episodic, like you said, serialized. How does the author, Puvvu, build up those emotional journeys over multiple posts? It feels like reading a novel or watching a show sometimes.
Oh,
And what about
thank
the
you so
structure?
much.
Those labels, love, breakup, marriage, society, are they just tags or something more?
Good question. No, they're definitely more than just tags. That episodic structure, it's not just about time passing. Puvvu seems to use the blog format itself, separate posts, the navigation, almost like chapters in a book. Or maybe like a scene select menu.
Huh.
Amazing.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a really smart way to handle attention and emotion online. And then there's the language. It's incredibly intimate, very evocative. They use these striking metaphors, stuff like when monsoon met my heart, or the voice that woke my soul. That pulls you right in emotionally.
It does. You really feel it.
Yeah, it's not just telling, it's making you experience it alongside the characters.
It wasn't just the romance that got me, though. I was quite struck by these other layers, the more reflective pieces, like gratitude and simplicity. How does that philosophical side fit in with the love stories, and what does that tell us about the author?
That's a great point, and it leads us right to the author, Puvvu Konvict, or Puvvu. They really come across as a romantic visionary, someone with this incredible knack for building emotional stories and using, beautiful poetic language.
Okay, so let's talk about that voice. It feels very vulnerable, but also really clear. How do they achieve that? What makes it so distinctive?
Well, I think Puvvu has this amazing ability to blend really personal, almost confessional writing with broader sort of philosophical thoughts. The stories aren't just stories. They tap into something universal, that longing for connection, maybe a reverence for love's quieter moments. And that cinematic imagination we talked about, turning everyday things into something that feels timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Their real strength is that episodic storytelling, building tension, delivering emotional payoff piece by piece. And it feels like an invitation, doesn't it? Like you're invited into this shared emotional space.
Exactly, that's
It
what
makes you
my
feel
motto-
quite seen, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And that mix, you mentioned the romantic idealism and the spiritual reflection, that's what gives it layers, makes it stick with you. So let's try and tie this together. What's the big takeaway here from Puvvu Konvict Entertainments about storytelling online? What's the key thing someone could learn if they want to create something with real impact digitally?
I think it comes back to that idea of implied cinema and maybe constraint as a strength. By deliberately not showing everything, by using just one powerful image and an evocative title, Puvvu forces your imagination to engage.
Right, the reader does the work.
Precisely. And that mental participation creates a much more profound connection. So the insight is maybe, sometimes less is more, visually, if you want deep narrative immersion online. It's kind of an aha moment, isn't it? It shows how versatile these platforms can be for really personal artistic work. That great stuff can pop up where you least expect it.
And for you listening, it shows that really deep, engaging content isn't limited to books or films. It's out there online, sometimes in formats like a blog, completely reinventing what that format can do. It's a great shortcut to seeing innovative storytelling in action. Okay, so quick recap. Puvvu Konvict Entertainments really grabs you with its cinematic feel, that blend of romance and deeper reflection, the smart episodic structure, and of course the author's incredibly unique voice that just pulls you into the world they've built.
Yeah, and maybe the final thought is this. Looking closely at something like Puvvu Konvict Entertainments challenges us, really. It makes us think about just how much emotional weight and complex storytelling can be carried by these seemingly simple digital formats. And it makes you wonder, what does that mean for the future of personal, serialized stories online. Where else might we find them?
That's really insane, dude. It went line by line and post by post and explaining it. That's really crazy.
Thrown together, it feels very episodic. Like it's building these complex emotional arcs over, many different posts. It feels structured, like reading a novel or watching a series unfold.
Absolutely, it's planned.
And the structure itself seems simple but effective. Things like the labels love, breakup, marriage, society, attraction. How do those simple tags help manage such a sprawling story?
That's actually a really smart observation. It's not just that they're organized, it's how those simple labels work. They act like signposts.
Okay.
So as a reader, you can easily follow these quite complex emotional journeys or thematic shifts without feeling lost. It's a really effective, low-tech way to structure long-form digital content.
That makes sense. It provides clarity.
Yeah, clarity and navigation. It's key for engagement. And then there's the language itself. It's so intimate, isn't it? Very evocative. Often uses these really powerful metaphors.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Titles like When Monsoon Met My Heart or The Voice That Woke My Soul.
Wow, yeah.
They're not just clever titles. They instantly create this emotional connection. They pull you right into the specific feeling of that scene.
It sets the stage immediately.
Precisely.
Now, here's something that surprised me. It's not just romance. There's this other layer, almost philosophical. You find these occasional reflections, like one called Gratitude and Simplicity. It adds this unexpected depth. It makes you stop and, think a bit.
Yeah, that blend is really interesting. How do you feel that mix of romance and, let's call it philosophy, affects the experience?
Well, for me, it elevates it. It stops it from being just a personal story and makes it feel more universal somehow.
I agree completely. It creates this layered narrative. The philosophical bits lift the romance beyond just anecdotes. They become reflections on life, connection, personal growth.
So it adds weight.
It does. It shows how a creator can weave deeper meaning into what looks like fairly light content on the surface. It makes the whole thing richer. It's not just a love story. It's exploring the self, really.
Okay, so who is the person behind all this? The visionary weaving together the love and the philosophy.
Right, the author. Puvvu.
Right.
Or Puvvu Konvict is the handle.
Puvvu, okay.
They definitely come across as a romantic visionary, but it's more specific than that. It's how they blend that really raw, almost confessional intimacy with those deeper philosophical thoughts. It's a very consistent, authentic voice.
And that authenticity, that vulnerability, that must be key to connecting with readers online.
Absolutely. It demonstrates just how powerful that can be. Their stories feel deeply personal, yet they touch on these universal longings for connection, for meaning in small moments.
And that cinematic feel we talked about.
Yes, that comes through too.
Yeah.
A cinematic imagination that makes ordinary scenes feel significant, almost timeless.
So when you read Puvvu's work, what really defines their voice or identity for you? How do they build that strong connection?
I think it's that sheer authenticity, first and foremost. It invites you, the reader, into this shared emotional space. You feel like they get your own feelings about love, about life.
Do you feel seen?
Exactly. You feel seen and understood. And technically, they're excellent at the episodic storytelling, building suspense, building emotion across posts.
Keeping you coming back for more.
Precisely. It makes you eager for the next episode. That's really the gold standard for any kind of serialized content, whatever the platform.
Are there any, perhaps, potential downsides to that very intimate style?
Well, it's a thought. That deep intimacy is a huge strength, for sure. But, because it's so personal, maybe it connects most strongly with readers who already resonate with that specific emotional wavelength.
Right, it might not be for everyone.
It might not. It's a very particular kind of magic they're weaving. But for those who connect, it's incredibly powerful. It feels like this unique balance they strike.
Between the romantic idealism and the sort of spiritual reflection.
Yes. That's what creates such a layered and I think deeply resonant narrative.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. What does this specific blog, Puvvu Konvict, really tell us? Why does it matter?
Well, I think,
for me, what makes it so remarkable is that it's proof, really. Proof that creative storytelling can totally break out of traditional boxes. It takes what could be just a simple blog and makes it feel as rich, as immersive as a film or a novel. The medium doesn't limit the depth.
Exactly. And what Puvvu Konvict really shows us is that you don't need massive budgets or fancy tech to create something truly immersive and serialized.
Right.
This blog is a case study in how thoughtful structure, really evocative language, and just basic visual cues, how they can transform text on a screen into something genuinely cinematic.
It kind of sets a new bar for accessible digital storytelling.
It really does. And exploring this gives us, I think, really valuable insights into how you can convey complex feelings and long stories in a digital format that's still easy to access and digest.
It's kind of an aha moment about just how flexible these online platforms can be for really personal artistic work.
Totally. An aha moment for sure.
And for you listening, this whole thing illustrates that really profound, engaging stuff can pop up in places you might not expect. It's like a shortcut to understanding some really cool, innovative ways people are telling stories online, often quietly, under the radar. It shows you what's possible with just creativity and, well, a blog.
So true.
Okay, so quick recap of our deep dive into Puvvu Konvict Entertainments. We've looked at that unique cinematic quality.
Right, the movie-like feel.
It's a blend of romance with those deeper philosophical ideas.
That layered meaning.
The clever episodic structure that keeps you hooked.
Yeah, the serialization.
Yeah, and the author's really distinct, vulnerable voice that creates such an immersive experience. So what's the final takeaway here?
I think this look at Puvvu Konvict really challenges us, doesn't it? It makes us think about how much emotional depth, how much narrative complexity you can actually weave into these seemingly simple digital spaces.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, what does this mean for the future of storytelling online? Especially for these really personal, serialized narratives, it opens up possibilities.
Thanks a lot, guys. Now I got the overview. So this is how you can get the insights from the artificial intelligence agents like this. Go and try that out. But in my case, this is really awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.
Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to